Welcome to Cartoons and Stories '01, where exciting adventures and fun cartoons come to life. Get ready for a world of imagination.
Deep in a vast, vibrant jungle, where trees whispered ancient secrets and rivers sparkled in the sunlight, lived the mighty yet kind-hearted King Kong, known for his towering size and earth-shaking footsteps. Kong was surprisingly gentle. Though many feared his appearance, he often helped the jungle creatures, rescuing birds, playing with monkeys, and even giving rides to tired elephants. But recently, something was different about Kang. He wasn't roaring or climbing mountains. Instead, he was seen daydreaming, humming tunes, and picking flowers. The jungle buzzed with curiosity until it became clear. King Kong was in love. The object of his affection, a graceful, intelligent female gorilla named Kiki. New to the jungle, Kiki had arrived from a distant mountain region. She was confident, curious, and unafraid of Kang. She greeted him cheerfully, brought him homemade banana pies, and once even told him off for waking her up during a nap. Kong was captivated by her charm, wit, and kindness. He began to court her in his own grand style. One day, he built her a treehouse so tall it could be seen from the clouds. Another time, he picked an enormous bouquet of sunflowers that weighed more than a hippo. But no matter what he did, he felt it wasn't enough. He wanted to tell her how he truly felt with a proposal she would never forget. Kong had seen humans proposing with rings, small, shiny circles. But that wouldn't do for Kiki. A ring that could fit her finger would need to be the size of a tractor tire. No, Kong needed something bold, something big. Then, the perfect idea struck him. In the center of the jungle stood a legendary tree, the Moonlight Banyan. It was ancient and majestic, with glowing leaves that shimmered under the moonlight. Revered by animals and whispered about in forest tales, the tree was considered sacred. To Kong, it was the most beautiful thing in the jungle aside from Kiki, and that made it the perfect gift. At dawn, with the jungle still asleep, Kong crept to the Moonlight Banyan. He apologized softly to the tree, knowing what he was about to do. Then, with one mighty heave, he uprooted the entire thing-root's trunk and all. The ground quaked. Birds squawked. Monkeys peeked from treetops in shock. Cradling the tree like a bouquet, Kong made his way to Kiki's cave. She had just woken up when she heard something rustling. Stepping outside, she was greeted by the sight of Kong holding the enormous, glowing tree, looking shy but hopeful. "Kiki," he said bashfully, "I've never felt like this before. You make me happy. I wanted to give you something special. Will you be my queen?" Kiki stood frozen, the Moonlight Banyan. Her eyes darted between the ancient tree and the enormous gorilla proposing to her. Then, suddenly, she burst out laughing. Kong's heart sank. Was she laughing at him? But her laughter was warm, joyful, not mocking. She stepped closer, touched his arm, and said, "You uprooted that tree for me. That's the craziest, sweetest thing I've ever seen. Of course, I'll be your queen." What followed was the most joyful celebration the jungle had ever seen. Birds chirped cheerful songs, elephants danced, monkeys swung on vines and tossed fruits like confetti. Even the shyest creatures came out of hiding to witness the love story of the century. The Moonlight Banyan was replanted beside Kong and Kiki's new home, becoming a glowing symbol of their love. From that day forward, King Kong wasn't just known for his strength, he became the jungle's official love guru. Animals from all over came to him for advice. A shy parrot asked how to serenade his crush. A hedgehog wanted tips on cuddling without poking anyone. Kong helped them all with big-hearted advice, often suggesting wild but thoughtful gestures. He told one squirrel to build a heart-shaped leaf pile, another to deliver pine cones with love messages inside. His methods were always grand, occasionally messy, and definitely unforgettable, but they worked. Soon, the jungle was filled with more laughter, more couples, and more wild romantic stunts. Meanwhile, Kang and Kiki's life was full of fun. They swung through trees together, made banana smoothies, and sometimes held love seminars where Kong gave motivational speeches about being brave, honest, and occasionally outrageous in love. Kiki would roll her eyes but smile proudly after all. She was the queen who'd been proposed to with a magical tree. Over time, their love story became legend. Young animals grew up hearing the tale of King Kong's unforgettable proposal. Artists carved it into tree trunks. Frogs turned it into songs. Even distant jungle tribes came to see the famous moonlight banyan, the proposal tree. Kong never regretted his bold gesture. Love, he said, should be rooted deep, stand tall, and shine even in the dark. Just like that tree. Though he still knocked over trees by accident and occasionally scared tourists with his sneeze, Kong was now admired for his heart more than his size. And anytime someone wanted to confess their love, they'd visit Kong first, who usually ended the conversation by patting them on the back and saying, "Just make it big, but make it you." And thus, in a jungle full of wild stories, one stood tallest. The tale of a gorilla who proposed with a tree, loved like a king, and taught everyone that the biggest love sometimes comes with the biggest heart and the boldest moves.